In today's episode, we will talk about the famous American author Stephen King, known for horror stories known as King of Horror. He didn't just write horror books, but also explored genres like suspense, crime, science fiction, fantasy, and mystery. His book Carrie, which was his first horror book, was his debut in 1974. Different Seasons, a collection, was his departure in the horror genre. 10 of his books were turned into movies such as Carrie, The Shining, The Dead Zone, Christine, Stand By Me, Misery, The Shawshank Redemption, Dolores Claiborne, The Green Mile, and It. Stephen King also was a co-writer, writing along with Peter Straub and his two sons Joe Hill and Owen King. King won awards such as Bram Stoker and August Derleth, as well as Medal for Distinguished Contribution to American Letters, Mystery Writers of America, National Medal of Arts, and Joyce Carol Oates. King was born in Portland, Maine on September 21st, 1947. His father, Donald King, was returning from World War II as a traveling vacuum salesman, which King wasn't his father's surname, it was Pollock, but changed it in his adult years. King's mother was Nellie King, birth name Nee Pillsbury, married King's father in 1939 and lived with Donald's family in Chicago before moving to Croton-on-Hudson, New York. King's parents returned to Maine close to the end of World War II, living in a modest house in Scarborough. King is a Scots-Irish descent. King's father walked out on him, his brother, and his mother, leaving the mother to be a single parent to both while struggling with their finances. The mother took both King and his brother David to live with family in Chicago, Illinois. When King was 11, the three of them moved up to Durham, Maine, so that King's mother could be caretaker to her dying parents, and soon after their passing became a caregiver for a local residential facility for the mentally challenged. King states when he was about 6 or 7 is when he started writing. He would copy stuff out of comic books and create stories out of them. The filming industry was also a big influence on King. King stated that he loved movies from the start. King showed his mother a story of his, and she replied with, "I bet you can do better, write one of your own." King has an immense feeling of the idea of writing his own stories. King was an aggressive reader, reading everything from Nancy Drew to Psycho, but his favorite book was The Shrinking Man by Richard Matheson. King was 8 years old when he discovered The Shrinking Man. King one time asked a book mobile driver if she had any books about how kids really are. The driver hands him a book called Lord of the Flies. King stated that books aren't just entertainment, it's life or death to him. King attended Durham Elementary School and in 1962 went to Lisbon High School in Lisbon Falls, Maine. King wrote stories for his brother's school newspaper that was printed with a mimeograph machine and later sold his stories to friends and classmates in his school. King's first ever book published was A Teenage Grave Robber and had over 4 issues of the fanzine Comics Review in 1965. King was also a sports reporter for Lisbon's Weekly Enterprise. King started attending the University of Maine at Orano on a scholarship in 1966. King had 2 mentors such as Professors Edward Holmes and Burton Hatlund. King was a participant in the writing workshop organized by Hatlund, which is where he met and fell in love with Tabitha Spruce, who he eventually married in 1971. In 1968, an English teacher named Bert showed King the way to the pool, the language pool that is, and the myth pool where they all went down to drink. In 1967, King sold his first professional short story named The Glass Floor to Startling Mystery Stories. After graduating from the University of Maine as a high school teacher, he had troubles finding a job immediately, so in the meantime sold short stories to magazines like The Cavalier. Later on, King was hired as an English teacher at the Hampden Academy in Hampden, Maine. He still continued to contribute short stories in magazines while he worked on ideas for novels, including the anti-war novel Sword in the Darkness that he never published. 1970 was the year he wrote the book Carrie to the Dead Zone. At first, he wrote 3 pages and then threw it in the trash. His wife, Tabitha, picked it up and read it and asked King what happens next, which motivated him to finish the book that turned into a novel. This is where I'm stopping for Stephen King. If you liked the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Have a great day and God bless.